I appear to be live. Hi, welcome to my household in the morning. You know, you all said 7 a.m. PST was the best time, and just so you know, this is about what's happening at 7 a.m. PST. So Brad's about to take the herd of dogs out of the room, and we're going to talk about your roll up and tips for your roll up. So, you can comment below if the roll up is something that you really struggle with, because you're not alone. Here's the deal about the roll up. I purposely brought out my mat that's here right now that doesn't have a strap because most of you have this kind of a mat at home. Hopefully it is thicker and not a yoga mat. So if you need a thicker mat, hey, raise your hand. We have 10 left. But here's the deal about the mats that are like this. They don't have a strap. And when Joseph Pilates designed these exercises, there was a strap, and it wasn't even a fancy mat. It was like a strap on like a mattress. It was like a mattress pad, the strap. But the idea is you had something to pull your feet against that would actually allow you to continue the energy back into your body. So I do have a strap with a mat, but I wanted to show you all the tips without it. And then I want you to make sure that you're on my email list because I'm literally working on an amazing home mat with a strap, and you'll get a discount if you're on my list when it comes out. So just like shameless plug, but if you really want to help your roll up, that's how it's going to go. So here's what's going to happen. The roll up is this exercise. Feet flex, legs parallel, arms up overhead. You roll up and over yourself, and you pulse 3 times, and you roll down without the legs moving. That's the goal. It is also designed with a bar, a pole. You can grab a Swiffer. This will also help you because so many people reach their roll up from their chest. I want you to reach your roll up from your back. So if you have a pole that's a little wider than your shoulders, you can pull it apart, lift your head through it, and keep pulling the bar apart. And already my upper back is way more engaged. And so it actually helps pull my spine off the mat instead of me trying to do it from my armgina, which is what everyone does. That's where you you make your upper back look round with your shoulders forward. We don't want to do that. So get a pole, get it from the hardware store, or grab your broom. That will work. I have a magic circle out here. So yes, it's ideally done with the legs together. However, one of the key secrets to making your roll up just like the best ever, it's about your thighs. So it's where your thigh meets your booty. And we have to turn this on, and so many people can't turn on. So the hardest part of your roll up, you have to turn on these muscles. So by putting a magic circle around your feet, it trains those muscles how to work. But then don't get like stuck on me all the time. Attached, that's the word I'm looking for. It's 7 a.m., guys. You want to make sure you use it, take it away, and try to activate those muscles without it. So you put it on your feet. You want to make sure your feet are parallel, okay? And you want to make sure the circle is flat. And then we're going to check as we roll up and down if it stays that way. So you can have the pole, have the circle, it's fine. You're going to roll up. And at the hardest part, I'm going to activate my outer hips even more. Oh, so much easier. So much more possible, I should say. And then roll down. And I'm looking. My circle has a little tilt down, so that tells me that I'm letting go of my feet. So I got to reach my heels down and away, push out on the circle, not from your knees, but from your outer hips, and pull out on the pole, not from your elbows, but your upper back. So those 2 things right there, it will take away that part where the legs lift up, because if your seat's on, then your legs don't lift up. If your arms are connected to your back, then you don't try to pull up from your pecs, your chin to your chest kind of a thing. Now, if you're like, girl, I can't even get up. Okay, I hear you. So one of my favorite teaching tips in my beginner series, I have an intro series, it's 3 classes, is the elbow slip. It is a really good way for you to learn the longest flexion because there's actually only 5 spine shapes in Pilates. We discussed that in my Mastering the Basics on the Mat. One of them, the roll-up uses, is the round shape. It's the longest round shape. So when you put your knees and feet together and you put your forearms on the mat, you want to make sure that your feet aren't too close to your seat, but they're not too far away either. So find a spot where you can have your legs squeezing together and your feet pushing down. And now I want you to hug those outer hips. Like look at your outer hips and go, It's a technical term. You can see them swoop in. And then without resting on your shoulders, because we're not at the beach, you'll reach one arm forward, pull it back, and then the other arm forward and pull it back. And then you reach and you reach. And you're just doing one arm at a time without leaning. So what I don't want is this action. This would be called leaning, and you're not getting anything out of it. You are slipping your elbow forward and back. And what this will teach you is how the tailbone reaches for the heels, the crown of the head reaches for the ceiling, and I have this long flexion. So that way when I go, you could do both arms too if you want to get fancy. When I do the roll up, I'm not rolling down. I'm going up and over. And that's another key thing. So typically I see arms come down and then everyone's rolling down. You want to go up and over your legs. So the space is that same shape as your elbow slip, which I think is super fun, right? So if you are like, girl, okay, I've tried all those things, I'm still struggling, then I actually highly recommend you go to a wall. And I want you to look at my wall exercises. You could just search them on my channel. But if you go to the wall, you'll have your feet a little bit away from the wall and you'll roll down and up the wall. And you'll see what part of your spine skips. That's the part of your spine that's tight, and that's the part of your abs that are weak. And then you can go and do things to work on opening that spot up, strengthening those abdominal muscles. I have tons of tips for you. So just let me know when you practice that where you're tight. Yeah, you can also put questions in the comments right now. And so you'll put them in the comments and I can actually help you with some other exercises you could do. If all you have is a mat, then I really want you to practice your 100 with your legs down. So that's this right here. Just doing this exercise with your legs down. And the reason is that you can see your legs working, you can train them to work, and you get to practice the hardest part, these upper abs, and then you can watch if your lower abs are working or not. So right here, this is great practice. If you're like, girl, I get stuck, then do the 100 every time you have to do the roll up. If you're like, oh, I can roll up, but when I roll down, my legs lift up, that just tells me that your quads are lowering you down. So all you're going to do is get your feet up against a wall, roll back as far as you can with those feet reaching, pull your waist back and come back up. You can also do this with the half roll back, where your arms reach forward, or you can have your hands here, and you roll back, and then when you roll up, you try to leave your lower back on the mat. So working that descension without your quads turning on, pull back. My feet have to stay down. Feet have to stay down. That's really going to help you. And then just so you know, if you're really struggling with an exercise, practicing that exercise over and over and over again will just make you crazy. There's a whole entire practice for you that is set up to help you strengthen. So put in the comments below where you struggle. Is it on the way up? Is it getting your head and chest up? Is it your legs that are lifting up? And then I can troubleshoot it with you in the comments what exercise you should do. And then I would love it if you check out my intro series if you're really struggling with this, because I really help you with the foundational exercises that will make your roll up better. We just did on OPC a couple weeks ago, we did an entire week's class focusing on the roll up, and it was really amazing to see everyone's aha moments. So I'm not saying that I'm like your like roll up like fairy, but I'm pretty darn good at figuring out how to help you get yourself on your way to a roll up. And let's be honest, if you can do other exercises in the repertoire, rolling like a ball, teaser, open leg rocker, you actually can do the roll up, right? Because the roll up is the foundation exercise for all of those things. So just know that we do want to get this, but if you're doing other things, you have it in you. We just have to get that in your mind, and that's what it is. So I'm Lesley Logan. I love doing these lives with you. Please make sure you're asking questions in the comments or in the community, because it does help me decide what we're going to talk about next. And when you subscribe to this channel, not only does it mean the world to me, it actually helps us make more videos like these. So please share this with your friends who are struggling with their roll up. You can just send them the link and have them share and ask them to subscribe so we can continue to grow this community. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.